keep that in mind.
Don't ever say that word. No, don't say it.
What's wrong with spunky?
I don't hear about
Man,
I understand it.
go back to Mexico. Stay in it.
Please. What?
Sure does have my air smooth. I do that too.
Okay.
Have a drink, you know, like that.
At least I
Alright.
can get all mine out, but once in a while.
Oh, I can't actually, it's something else.
Real quick.
I'm okay, no I would
I'm
not.
waiting you guys out. I'm not gonna go through this. I know how to do this. I'm gonna wait you out until I can hear myself. All right. For the practice guide for your chapter 7. Yesterday we did 1 through 4. Today we're gonna finish it. Hey, let's stop talking seriously. So, problem number 5 through 9, that's what we're doing today. Pay attention. I'm going to go through this pretty quick. If you're not paying attention, I'm moving on, because I know how to do this. I don't need to explain it to myself. So, what we have to do first. On this one, we have to estimate the amount of molding. Molding is the perimeter around this particular room. Expect a problem where there's a picture. There's numbers on it. I think this is a problem. I think it was in the homework, very similar to this. We have to go around and we have to add the distances. Now, can anyone figure out the distance that's over here?
15.
15, because that's how tall the room is. Or the length, I guess, of the room. Now, the width going across, 17, because it's the 6, 6, and the 5. Because it goes 6, 5, and 6. That's how it works if you just look at the lines going across. So that is 17 all the way across the bottom, in feet. Okay, so there you go. Now again, I transfer the numbers down. Now this 3 will go over here. Hopefully that makes sense. You will have to do a little bit of common sense checking to see if the dimensions are there. I'll make sure that you have enough dimensions you can actually solve it. Now, to find molding, you have to add up all the walls. You have to find the total perimeter. So you have to go around, find the perimeter for this object, find the perimeter, and then actually go through, and once you find the perimeter, then we're going to use it. So for me, I'm gonna start up here and kind of work my way around the room and add up every wall. So 6 plus 3 plus 5 plus 3 plus 6 plus the 15 going down plus the 17 across the bottom plus the 15 back up to the top. That's how I do it. Now my label should be in feet. Okay, my label should be in feet. So, what do we get? 70? Okay, so it works out to be a perfect 70. So then the idea is that what we need to figure out next is how many planks I'll actually need, like the sections of molding. So, yep, so you're absolutely right. So what we do is you take 70, the 70 feet, you divide by how long the planks are. Now this is where it was up to you guys when you guys were doing your house experiment, your house problem. You had to go find the plank online, and you had to go figure out the length. Well, some of those boards came in 12, some came in 8, some came in 10. For mine, it was 8-foot sections. So you divide, and you're absolutely right. It was going to be 8 point something, 8.75. So that means you need 9 planks. 9 planks of that stuff. You have to round up. It's like when we did painting with paint cans the other day. You have to figure out how many. Does everyone understand where I got the 8 from? They told me in the instructions their molding comes in 8-foot sections. So I divided by 8 to figure out how many boards I needed. I needed 9 planks, so you can't buy 8.75 of them. Once I have my 9 planks, you take the 9 and you multiply it by the price. Say it again. Okay. There you go. 167.4. Okay. All right. It should be in the hundreds of dollars, 160 something, 167. Okay. So keep that in mind. Again, double check it. Type it in your calculator. Again, you can use calculators tomorrow on the test, but make sure you know what you're doing, because I will not tell you how to type it in tomorrow. I will not tell you if you're right or wrong. Basically, the only questions I ever ask, or that you can ask, is what does it need, or what am I looking at here? Within molding, you gotta figure out the distance around, that's all I tell you. I will not tell you to do it, so keep those questions down to a minimum tomorrow. You've gotta know it today. Questions at all about the first one? Let's move it on. Hopefully you did that one by yourself already. I think it's pretty straightforward. I'm not trying to pick any tricky questions for you. All right, next one. Number 6, insulation roll. This is where you have to find the square footage. We're just doing the attic, we're not doing the walls. So the cost of insulation. So what we're gonna do first, multiply the 37 by the 25. We have to find area first.
925.
So 925 feet squared. Okay, so you have to find the square footage of the floor.
Do we have to label it like feet squared?
Yes, I do expect labels. So area is always something squared, perimeter or fence is always just the label feet, you know, whatever it is. Okay, so we found area. What we have to do is we have to divide by what the rolls come in. They come in 88 feet rolls. You'll have to read that on your problem. So mine, feet squared, I'm gonna divide by 88 feet squared, because that's what it comes in for the rolls. They cover so much square footage, 88 foot rolls. So we divide by 88. That's supposed to be feet squared. I must have mistyped it. Once you get here, it'll tell you how many you need. It's about 8 or 9.
10.
Or it's 10.51.
10.51. So you need 11 rolls. So you need 11 rolls if we round up. So that means if each roll costs $17, almost $17.50 almost, you have to take that times 11. Because you're buying 11 rolls to cover. The rolls are going to cover the whole attic. So 11 times the 1749.
192 and 192.
Say again?
192 and 192.
Yeah, 192. That's about right. It should have been about the same as the last one. Okay, questions at all about the dimensions and how we did that? Again, you'll have to figure out that number, type it in your calculator. I heard it was about 190 something. Okay, so that made sense. I was kind of picking the numbers about the same ballpark. Because the planks are going to the attic. We're not going to the one. Yeah, we're just going to lay them down on top of the attic so it insulates the roof itself. Okay, questions at all? That was good. Perfect. Let's move on to number 7. The 7. Family room. We have the dimensions of the room. We're going to find the cost per square foot and figure out all the extras. This comes down to looking at your designs that you guys came up with in your home and kind of picking dimensions, rough dimensions that you guys used, figuring out a rough cost per square foot. That was kind of an expensive room for the person that was doing it. They had a bunch of extras in there. All right, so here's the idea. You do an 18 by 10 room, you have to figure out the area. So you have to multiply those together first. 18 times 10 is 180 square feet. Again, that little hash marks means feet, by the way, if you don't know that. Double hash marks mean inches. So it's 180 square feet for that room. You have to multiply it by the cost per square foot. This is an expensive room. Whoever came up with that. It's $98.99 per square foot. So we multiply that. That is a very expensive room. Now we're looking easily at what, 10 grand almost, something like that? 17, jeez. So, say it again, 17?
17,800 or 818.22.
22, all right. Yeah, yikes, that is one expensive room. Okay. Once you have that number, then here's the worst part. You still have to add the extras. The extras are like the dresser, the bed, the TV stand, the mirrors, whatever you're adding in there. Okay, so we add the $2,400. So we're looking probably at almost a 20 grand room.
It is
20 grand, 218.
Jeez, yeah, that's expensive. So one room, we added 20 grand to that house. Hopefully you get the resale back when you try to resell it again. Okay, but again, you have to add those up. The extra costs always come at the very end. Does that make sense? You just add the extras. That's like the furniture that you put in the room. Okay, are we good with number 7? Now, the cost per square foot, that's covering like carpet, walls, paint. It's doing all the little things, the furnishings, the light fixtures. It covers that stuff. The extras would be like the furniture you're putting in the room. That's an expensive room. Per square foot, you should not be that expensive. That's when you're putting really high price items in that room. Like way expensive carpet, really expensive paint. The room is, has a lot of like intricacies to it, maybe vaulted ceilings, has, you know, light fixtures, something like that. So think about that. That's really expensive per square foot. All right, last two problems here. Okay, we're doing number 8. Okay, 8 and 9. I believe that's the last two. All right, number 8. Cost of seeding the property. We did this in the last homework that we just did. Okay, so the area of the lot. The area of the lot is 975 feet squared. Okay, meters squared. Sorry, meters. We have the area of the house with the driveway is 75 meters squared. That's doing the driveway and the house added together. And what we're going to try to figure out is how many, you know, bags of seed we'll need to buy if the seed covers 200 square meters. So we might need to only buy 1. We might need to buy 2 or 3. And then we're going to find the cost of getting all that seed. It's pretty cheap bags. They're only $7 a bag. All right, so here's the idea. First step. You have to subtract the house off of your total lot. Because this, subtracting the house from the driveway, that should be everything you have to seed. That should be the ground that's left. So this is what, 900 meters?
Yes.
You subtract that off. Now, what we have to do next is divide by what the seed can cover, because this is all the grass and the ground that's left after the house comes off. We're going to divide by the 200. Well, if you do that right, you're looking at probably 5 bags. It's going to be 4 point something, 4.5.
Yep.
Okay, so we're going to have to buy 5 bags once I round, because it was 4 point something. Yeah, and then we'll have to buy 5 bags, and 5 bags at $7.59 is pretty cheap. Pretty cheap seed.
$37.95.
There you go, $37. You got grass seed for your house now. Okay, does everyone understand why I divided by the 200? We got to take the area, divide by what a bag can cover per area, then that we can get how many bags we need. It's kind of like how many paint cans we need to buy, or how many planks we need to get. Last one a day. Again, you have to find that one out by yourself. You have to kind of figure out that last number and multiply it. I haven't finished really any of these problems today, so you got to go back and kind of write down those final numbers.
Can we grade it on these?
And, yes, you get points for finishing it and stuff, yeah. Always get points for these. Okay, the last one. Last one a day. Number 9 for this chapter 7 test. All right, total fence. You have a really big lot. This is a really big dimension, so you're kind of like an acreage. I'm going to draw a mock picture of this. You do not have to do this. It's 151 feet by 570 feet by 151 feet by 570 feet. What we have to do for fencing is add it all up. It's perimeter. That's what fencing is. If I told you the price of fence, you can multiply it on. But I didn't tell you that. So I just want to see, can you find perimeter? You understand the concept of what a fence is and what perimeter is. Okay, so that should be a pretty big number. You're looking at maybe in the 1,200 range. Okay, yeah, 1,400. Yeah. Okay, are we good?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, that's it for chapter 7. Your chapter 7 test is tomorrow. It's based on this. It'll be 9 questions exactly. All I did was go through this. All I did was go through this, and all I did was change pictures, or I changed a couple numbers here and there. I'm just picking numbers you saw in the book.
So it's only going to be 9 questions.
9 questions. That's the test tomorrow.
So you can sit down.
Yeah, if you're done with this thing, you are. If you're done with your chapter 7, by all means, you can turn this in if you know you're going to lose it. If you want to study it, take it home. I'll take it tomorrow. It's due technically tomorrow. All right, now let's move on. Let's go to your semester guide now. You want me to take that, or you want to leave it? All right. So
Always 7. Me too. 7.
Okay, now, practice semester test. Everyone has it out. Yesterday, or I should say Tuesday, we did 1, 2. Yesterday we did 3 and 4. Today, we're gonna do 5 and 6. Tomorrow, or I should say Monday, we'll do
No, I
7
said
and
it
8.
wasn't here Tuesday.
And then on Tuesday, we'll do 9, 10, 11. So we'll do 3 on next Tuesday. Okay, but today we're only doing 2. The goal is to cover 5 and 6, because I think we did 3 and 4 yesterday. These are the ones we actually need separate formulas for it, and I will give you those formulas. They'll be on the board test day up here. Now, if you take your test in a different room, I'll have it on a little slip of paper for you. Questions?
Number 11 on the special test and number 7 on this test are the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Try like the last 3 and 4 tests.
Now, I will have to change one of these problems up. I'll explain it once we get there. That'll be an explanation for Monday. I'm not going to do it today. We don't have enough time. Actually, we're not. All right.
Lucas!
What's up, Lucas?
Lucas,
Hey, welcome back.
do you have time to talk to me in a second?
Not right now. Can you come back maybe in like 15 minutes? 10 minutes?
Isn't 15 minutes when the period's over?
No!
No, 19 maybe?
Okay.
Do you need those practice guides and stuff?
No, you don't have time for that.
Alright. Okay, hey, I'll talk to you later. Alright. So, okay, first. Alright, 5 and 6. These are the only 2 I want to do today.
I'd be
Let me zoom in here.
We have first and second. You have first and second page. Oh.
Alright. Now, here's what we're gonna have to talk about. I was gonna talk about this maybe Monday, but we'll talk about it once we get to problem number 6. Number 6 is gonna be the one that we're gonna need to discuss. All right. Number 5. Okay, so number 5, we have a mortgage, we have an interest, we have amount paid, total interest paid. This problem is kind of difficult. You'll need a formula for this one for test day. Okay? So here's the formula I'd like you to have. So the amount that you're going to pay for your mortgage, principal times 1 plus R divided by N times T. Okay, this is the formula I'd like you to write down. I know this is really crazy. It will be on the board on test day, but you need to know what these parts are. Okay, A stands for the total paid for the house over the time frame. So like over 30 years or 20 years or 25 years. Okay? The P stands for the mortgage you agreed to. The mortgage at the very beginning. So like when I bought my house 7 years ago, is the mortgage I agreed to at that time. Like what the price was that we negotiated for. That's the original price of the house, because I paid more in the long run. R is the interest rate. Interest rate, bless you.
Thank you.
N is the number of, is the months of a year. Well, that's always the default number for us. It's always 12 for us. Just let you know that, because we have 12 months. And then the T is time, and T has to be in years. Okay, does everyone understand that? T has to be in years. Okay, this is your compound interest formula for finding mortgages on a house. This is the formula you're going to use. We did this in class when we took our Chapter 5 test. We did mortgages and stuff. Okay. All right. To do this, total payment. We're going to have to find that. That's actually what they're trying to figure out. We want to figure out how much you paid for the house. So that's my A number. That's the number I'm going to try to find. The interest paid is the second part. Okay, what is the mortgage we agreed to on my house? 70 grand, right? So we're going to plug the 70 grand right here. Does everyone understand that's my P? That's my principal that I agreed to. The mortgage that I agreed to. The interest rate is 12%. Well, if that's a percent, we have to make it a decimal. Because anytime it's a percent, you have to make it a decimal before I can use it. So I'm using 0.12. That's really high interest, by the way. Okay, next. Interest rates. We already have that. The number of months in a year, there's 12. The number of months in a year, 12, because that's my ends are the same numbers. It's how many times they charge you. So it's the number of months. And then the time is 30. So we're going 30 years. Now you're thinking, Ward, how do you know it's 30? In the instructions, read the instructions. It says 30 years. I will clearly warn you tomorrow, or I should say next Wednesday when we have the semester test, if the years change. Like, hey, note, it's 20 years, instead of 30, so be careful of that. Okay, questions so far on my setup? Okay, this is where you are guaranteed you need a calculator. You have to have one to do this problem. The first step, you have to take 0.12 and divide by 12. 0.12 divided by 12, what do we get? 0.01. Okay? Everyone's good? Next, we have to take the 12 times 30 up in the power. 360. Now, if that was a different year, like 25 years or 20, that 360 will change. If the interest changed, this decimal will change. We have to add these two decimals together to get 1.01. And now we're going to take that and put that to the 360th power. To type that in, on my calculator, you have to use the little arrow key. This little key right here. So you type in 1.01, you hit the little arrow key, and you type in 360 and hit enter. Notice I didn't write the 70,000 yet. So I'm typing 1.01, you hit the little caret key, you type in 360. I need to know that number first. It's a decimal. Say it again. 1.01 is 360. No. It's 35.
Yeah.
35 point what? Ooh, that's crazy. Okay. I'll explain why that number just threw me off there for a second. All right. 35.94964, blah, blah, blah. It's whatever decimal. I'm sorry, I might have rounded that one. All right. 70 grand. Now that I got that, because again, that was taking the 1.01 to the 360th power. Yeah. You have to multiply these two numbers together, and this will be what your total payment is. It's going to be astronomically high.
Like $2 million.
Yeah.
2.5.
2.5 mil. So give me the number. 2.5.
1515800.
Any decimals after it?
I didn't get that.
Okay. It depends on how far you round it. So if did you go my decimal places or did you?
I just went 94.
Oh, 94. Okay, that's why. If you only went 2 decimal places, his number will be different than what you did. If you did more decimal places, your number will be different than mine. So you're taking $70,000 times the 35.94964, blah, 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 blah. What is some other people getting?
I got
2.516474.
Okay,
2.8.
yeah, so,
Alright.
yeah, so it's really big.
So that's the amount paid? Like,
If you're, what?
that's the amount
Do you have a
paid?
five?
Yeah, this is the amount paid over 30 years. You're paying, instead of a $70,000 home, you just paid $2.5 million for that home over 30 years. The reason being, the interest rate is stupidly high. It's stupidly high.
Did you want
All right, questions?
How do you find the total interest paid then?
Now, define the total, because we haven't finished the problem yet, right? We have the $2 million. What you're paying extra to the bank, you take your $2.5 million home, and you subtract what you originally agreed to pay. And that's the worst part. What you're going to see when you do this will be the extra you paid the bank, which is this thing. The extra money paid in interest. Now that's, you're looking at, still, $2.5 million bucks.
What?
So, 1 million. What?
No, it's not.
Okay, yeah, 2,445,000. You're subtracting 70 grand off the original 2 million. I just forgot a number there, really. Or maybe type too many zeros after the 70.
Yeah, I'm just like.
Wait, I'm so confused.
Okay, are we good with that?
35
Okay,
No, this is.
this formula will be on the board. It'll probably be right here tomorrow for test, or for semester test day, it'll be over here somewhere. But on semester test day, if you know you're gonna take it in a different room, because I have some people that do that, it'll be on a separate sheet of paper that I'll just hand to you, like, hey, this is the formula, and all you just say is for number 5. Okay, we good? Okay, let's go to number 6, and then we're gonna talk about number 6. I have to change one problem on your semester test. Okay.
No, I hate it. No, I hate it.
You scared me now. I was like, yeah, I can't skip this out.
Okay.
I tried it once.
Okay, real quick.
What do you say?
I don't care about it. I just don't want to.
Alright. This problem is the problem I'm going to change in your semester test. Now, the reason being, this is not, it's an executive decision by our administration. Every semester test has to have one race car format question. Okay? Race car format is where you write in English one paragraph explaining your answer. It has to be in correct format, has to have capital letters, punctuation, correct grammar. Okay, this is going to be my problem. Okay? So, the question will say, what is the amount paid for a vehicle in monthly payment and monthly payments, and why? And what you're going to do is you're going to immediately state your monthly, or your amount paid for the vehicle is this, my monthly payments is this, because, and now you go into words explaining how you did it. It only has to be a few sentences, but you have to explain it in words. It's a choice that I didn't make. It's an administrative choice that every class is doing it. But I have to check for grammar, I have to check for everything like that. This problem is the easiest one I could do it for you guys, but you have to explain. You will have a formula that you use on this one, but your reasoning would be like, okay, because the interest rate is 4.5%, I changed it to 0.045, I plugged it into my formula, here's the amount that I paid, and you explain in words what you're doing. Does that make sense? So, it's basically just writing in sentence format. Everything you're doing. Now, let me walk you through this problem so you can see it. Here's how you do it. This is the formula you're going to have to use. This is the formula you're going to have. This will be on the board. You'll use it. This will be one of your parts when you expand and explain your answer. Because every person, every class has to have a race car based question, and you've been doing them all in English. English has done it for every class up to this point, so I know everyone knows. So, for principal, $23,000 car, you're going to take it times your interest. My interest is this. So that's something I would explain. Like in the middle of, I already said my answer, because you have to restate the question, answer the question, then you have to go into the reasons why and explain. This would be one of the parts you explain, that when you change a percent, you move the decimal back 2 spots. I multiplied by 6, because I went 6-year loan. And the idea is that what we have here is my final total that I'm going to pay in interest only. So the A here on this problem is the amount of interest paid. It's not my total payment. So, I need to know what these numbers multiply out to be. Say it again?
6262.65.
6262.5?
65.
65. Okay, double check, did everyone get that number? Okay, that is the interest I'm paying for this vehicle. That is not the total I'm paying. I'm not paying $6,000 for a car that costs $23,000. I'm paying, that's the extra money. It's like on the house, that house we just bought, that was 2-point-something million. The original house was $70,000, but you paid a lot more in the long run. Okay, this is my simple interest loan. So the idea is that it's $6,000 extra. So my total that I'm going to pay for the car, the amount paid for the car, is you take your $23,000 and you add the extra. 6262.65. 6, 5. This will be one of the parts in the first part of the sentence you have to state, because you have to restate the question and answer it. Whatever those add up to be, that's what your answer is in the very first. Define your monthly payments. How many months are in 6 years?
360.
No. How many months are in 6 years?
Just write the numbers down, so they like.
How many? 72? You have to divide by 72, that's how many months are in 6 years. 12 months a year for 6 years.
So you have to add those two and then divide that number.
Divided by 72. This will give you what your monthly payments is going to be.
4913.
Yeah, 409.
13.
Yeah.
What is it?
Okay. And again, rounding it, it's about $400. I could have told you that before it started. That sounds about right. 23 going 4.5 for 6 years, about $400, somewhere in that range.
This is our last question.
That's the last question today. Now, in the race car format, how I want you to do this, you would state the amount paid for my vehicle is, what is that, 29 grand something? Is 29,000 or 30,000, somewhere in that ballpark? And my monthly payments are 400 and something. Because, and then you go into explaining what you did. Does that make sense? I will give you more room than what I gave you here in number 6. I'll probably have to move number 7 to the next page. Every class has to do it. It's not my choice. We're trying to get you ready for your ITBS test, and because they changed the whole format. Yes.
They changed ITBS?
ITBS is no longer bubble sheets. It's race car questions.
The whole thing?
We don't have to take that though, do we?
No, it's all race car.
She said she doesn't know yet.
Because they're trying to eliminate just guessing.
Seniors might
And you
have
have to clearly define how you did it.
Oh, thank God.
She said Riley said seniors might have to this year.
No.
So what?
No.
Yeah, she asked while you remind me.
Yeah, I asked yesterday and she said, I don't know if seniors get cleared this year.
Can I?
For what?
I don't want to drop out now.
No, I'm not
doing
Oh, I'm not taking that.
Yeah, I
It's
know.
called
They
like
changed
SAP.
I've been done.
Yeah, they moved. It's not even ITBS. It's like SAP or something.
Seniors shouldn't have to.
Well, you don't have to.
You drop it.
Yeah.
So quick, I didn't even realize you did it. Okay.
Are you joking?
They're kind of upset. They got 5 stars. They got 3 stars.
Yeah, we'll just get volunteer level.
Can I go bathroom? Didn't all of you go to 5 stars?
I have a service project I need to do.
No. Hey, what do you need? Oh, okay. We can assist you. Sit on my desk.
Goodbye.
Bye now.
He was there. First time in a long time. Like, what's this from? You make sure like your payments on the The camera's still on what? I still don't know what app.